Hey everybody, welcome back. Jordan here. Ask Bricksie, episode 12. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. If you have questions that you want answered in a future episode of Ask Bricksie, make sure you submit them in the comment section below. And they may or may not be featured in the next episode. First one here is from Nathanos. He says, who's your favorite Spider-Man? Tom Holland, no question. Why do I like Tom Holland? I just like his acting style. Also, I think I like the character more because he's involved in more movies, right? Like, he's at a lot of appearances, and also he's, like, part of the Avengers, right? So I think it's really cool that he's with, like, Tony Stark and stuff like that. I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I think he's going to be in more Spider-Man films, so it's pretty exciting. Next one here is from Dinesh. He says, Ask Bricksie, what's the oldest Lego set that you have in your collection? Alright, so here's my oldest set. No, not the Bugatti. It's the 1974 tipper truck. Look at that thing. It's got the printed piece. Classic. 17 pieces. Set 612. You can see I have the original Legoland box for it. It's actually produced by Samsonite of Canada. That is the oldest set in my collection. Pretty cool, hey? So there you go. That one's pretty old, and it's got a pretty neat backstory, doesn't it? Pretty sweet set. Not bad. Stoked that I have the original box for it as well. Pretty cool. Pretty basic, though, I will say, but nostalgic for sure. Kaja asks, how many hours a day do I spend building Lego? Now, that's actually something that might surprise you. The answer to this question might surprise you. Not as many as you would think. Honestly, I probably sometimes I don't even build Lego in a day. The exact amount of time that I spend building Lego is unknown to me. I don't really log it. But honestly, operating a YouTube channel, even though it has to do with Lego, involves not a whole lot of Lego building. It's more so me talking to a camera, because after I'm done filming this, I've got to go edit this, upload this, do all the upload practices and stuff like that. And then also thinking of the videos of what I'm going to do next is one of the biggest challenges for me is thinking about content and making sure we keep moving forward with the channel. Building Lego, I'm going to say probably an average of probably an hour a day, maybe more. So about 8 hours a week. It depends on like what sets are coming out too, right? Probably more than that. I mean, if they release a Titanic, I generally build that in like 3 or 4 days, right? So I spend a lot of time building Lego. But if there's no new releases or I don't have a huge backlog, not as much as I'd like, to tell you the truth. We've been building Mills plates and stuff recently, so we've been building Mills plates and transferring Mills plates and building roads and stuff like that. So as of late, it's been more, but I guess it's sort of based on what Lego sets we have in the backlog and what Lego sets are coming out, and also what projects we're working on in the Lego City. For example, this week I've been working on it more because we've been transferring to Mills. So obviously I've built a lot of Lego, so I've spent a lot of time building Lego. Maybe it's more than 7 hours a week. I have no idea. Sorry to not answer your question. It really depends. Sometimes I barely build, sometimes I always build. Jamstar Lego 09 says, Ask Bricksie, what would you do if there was a fire, and if you moved houses, how would you move? The first thing I would do if there was a fire is cry. I'd be like, my Lego, no! and then I'd get angry, and then I'd have a fit, and then I'd call my insurance company. And I'd be like, my Lego's gone, I need an insurance claim, and then I'd have to go through the hassle of the insurance claim, and it would be a nightmare. How would I move my Lego? Well, I actually did that recently in August of 2020. What I did is just got some boxes, big boxes like this. Doesn't have to be deep boxes, and then I just put a set or a few sets in those boxes and drove very carefully. And then when I unloaded the boxes, if there's any loose pieces on the ground or inside the box, I knew that those pieces there were from one of the sets in that box, and then you just, okay, this piece looks like it's from here, and then you'd reference it and you'd find out where the piece went. Honestly, when we moved, I had two sets that experienced some damage. The Orthanc Tower, or the Tower of Orthanc from the Lord of the Rings lineup, and also the Star Destroyer. One of the stands broke, and there was some damage on the bottom, and some of the panels came off. And it was a bit challenging to repair, but we got it all figured out. It really wasn't too bad. Honestly, moving Lego isn't too difficult. I just used some shallow boxes. The ones that were difficult, I obviously used some bigger boxes and some safer things, like the Death Star 2, the rickety Death Star. It's really unstable on its stand, so I actually found a perfect square box. I put a blanket around the base of it, sort of wrapped around the base of the stand, so it sort of held the Death Star. And then I put the Death Star in the box, and then I wrapped the blanket around the top, and it made the trip safely. However, with that said, I moved just in my city. If I were to move from, like, you know, province to wherever, or like to a different province or a different state, then you'd have to probably take some Lego apart, because you wouldn't want to do like 50 trips like I did, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in a Dodge Caravan that drives pretty smoothly. On a freeway, it's not too bad, but if you were to move like to a different state or something and it was a long drive, you'd probably have to take some stuff apart, because you're probably going to hit a few bumps and some things are going to damage. And you wouldn't be able to lay them all out and take 50 trips. You'd have to stack some stuff up, so you'd probably have to part out your sets. But that's how I did it on the short term, not too long ago, right? Ryan says, what is your top 5 Lego sets? Or not top 5? Well, let's just do the top 5. How's that? Let's talk about my top 5 Lego sets. Now, before we get started with this, I just want to state that it's really hard to put this list together. There's a lot of great Lego sets out there that mean a lot to me, and also a lot of great Lego sets out there that are just like so awesome, and you gotta love them for different reasons. So this list that I've put together, it is comprised of a bunch of different themes. I wouldn't want to say that my top 5 Lego sets are all Star Wars sets. You know, I could be like, oh, UCS Slave 1, oh, UCS Millennium Falcon, UCS Star Destroyer, UCS Imperial Shuttle, and UCS AT-AT. That's my top 5 Lego sets. I don't think that's fair, because you gotta like sets for different things, for different reasons, and also for different nostalgia reasons to you and different meanings and stuff like that. But this is my list of top 5 sets, and I think it's a pretty cool list. Alright, so some of my favorite Lego sets are definitely modular buildings, but what's my favorite modular building? Well, this might seem a little bit weird to you, but these are modular buildings technically. And they're from the Ninjago theme. So you got Ninjago City Gardens, Ninjago City Docks, and Ninjago City. This is one of my favorite Lego sets of all time. It is like a very highly, insanely detailed modular building that comes loaded full of minifigures, sticker elements, and interesting building styles. Plus, it's one of the largest Lego sets ever produced. So this is actually my favorite modular building of all time due to its building complexity. Not for nostalgia reasons. My favorite one from nostalgia is the first modular building that I ever got, which is the detective's office. But this one right here is just incredible. The insane amount of detail is insane. I have no other words for it. It's crazy. How could this not be in your top 5 Lego sets? I mean, the UCS Millennium Falcon is the creme de la creme of all Lego sets. It is insane. Oh my gosh, I just used that descriptive word too many times. But yeah, it comes packed with detail. The greebling is insane. And then you also get these awesome minifigures here and the UCS plaque. How could this not be in a top 5 list? Have you seen this Batman minifigure before? The cape and cowl on it is crazy. It's like molded plastic. I love that minifigure. Also, look at the other ones. You got Joker. Sweet. Okay, 1989 Batmobile. Pairs up beautifully with the Batwing. I love this set. Crazy build with some awesome features. The machine guns will pop out of the front of this thing. I believe it has working steering, the big rubber tires, the nice stand. The cockpit just swings open like this here. It's got so much detail within it. This is one of my favorite Lego sets of all time. Actually, recently retired. I know I said I was going to spread out the themes, but the Lego Star Wars UCS Imperial Shuttle is nuts. It is like perfect. It's massive. Look at the giant windscreen and cockpit. The giant dorso fin and the massive wings. This can be displayed flying like this here, or also landed as well. Got to be in the top 5. Also, it was sent to me by some fans when I hit 50,000 subscribers, and it is one of the most memorable moments of this YouTube channel, no questions asked. When I first started collecting Lego, I was like, is there a Lego Titanic? I Googled it and I Googled it and I could not find one. Then in 2021, the Lego Group issued a Titanic. This is my top Lego set. And the way that I received it is the icing on the cake. And the way it was announced to me, I had no idea it was going to be a thing. And then I received an email from the Lego Ambassador Network. Right here, Recognized Community Ambassador. I received an email from them with a review offer of this product, and it was sent to me. The first thing I thought of when I started collecting Lego, is there a Titanic? And then years later, turns out that I become an ambassador, and in fact am offered the Titanic here on the channel. It is my top Lego set of all time. So there you go, that's my top 5 sets. Let me know what you think of those sets by commenting below. What's your top 5 sets? Let me know by commenting below as well. Bricky Nerd asked me another question in regards to my favorite sets. He says, which TIE Fighter is your favorite in your collection? He thinks I'm the best YouTuber in the world. Well, thank you so much. I got 2 in mind. There's different sizes and different shapes of TIE Fighters. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe I got 3 in mind. Oh, I don't know. This is tough. Okay, let's decide. Lego has released a countless amount of TIE Fighters. Our collection is on the top of the shelves here with all our Star Wars stuff. These are just the small ones though. There's also Kylo Ren's right here, the UCS TIE Fighter, and then way up top here we got Darth Vader's TIE Fighter Advance. This is for sure my favorite smaller TIE Fighter. And then this one up here is my favorite larger TIE Fighter. Now, of course, I don't have all the TIE Fighters. There's also the TIE Interceptor, the same scale. That's the UCS scale. But we're just going to go based off the ones in my collection. Yeah, so those are my favorite TIE Fighters. There's the smaller one that's pretty awesome. I love it. It's just a different, unique shape. It's newer. It looks really cool. That's the Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter that I'm talking about there. And it's a toss-up. What's better, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter Advance or the TIE Fighter UCS? I'm going to go with Darth Vader TIE Fighters Advance. It's a rarer set. It's harder to find. It's older. And it's a pretty sweet set. Declonius Games says, would you ever start trying to collect architecture-themed sets as Singapore was just released? Also, any advice for someone wanting to collect and build Lego sets and doesn't have a whole lot of space to work with? Well, you see my Lego room, right? We use the Billy shelves. I'd suggest getting a good shelving system because you can pack a lot more onto the shelves vertically. Use your complete vertical space to maximize the amount of space that you can use. Also, only collect what you like and maybe stick to a certain theme so that you can only have like all your Star Wars sets or all your architecture sets, like you said there. Am I ever going to collect architecture? No, I'm not. Not that I don't like architecture. I got 2 right there, actually. I've got the Empire State Building and also the Statue of Liberty, but I just don't, like you said, I don't have the space. And it's not my top theme, so I'm not going to collect it. So I'm only going to collect themes that I really like and not going to collect themes that I don't like because I'm going to run out of space. But yeah, make sure you condense your displays without making them too crowded and use some tall bookcases or whatever it might be. These are the Billy bookcases from IKEA, and just really sort of cluster them on the shelf so they look good and present well. Another thing you could do if you had too many sets is you could break them down, put them in bags. I know a lot of people do this. Break down the set, put it in a bag, put it away, and then cycle your collection. So you got 20 sets in bags put away over here. Oh, I'm tired of looking at the globe, so I'm going to part out the globe and I'm going to rebuild the gunship and put the gunship out, something like that, right? So you can always have a backlog of sets that you can always take apart and rebuild and have fun rebuilding it and sort of relive the experience of building that Lego set. So that's one suggestion I do have as well. If you don't have enough display space, if your display space is maxed out, then maybe cycle your collection. Wade says, are you ever planning on working on the Harry Potter Under the Stairs room like you had originally wanted to when I moved to the house? Yes, originally I was thinking of making, I got a little Harry Potter closet over there. I was thinking of making a little Harry Potter scene down there. Ultimately, in the end, I decided not to because that's valuable storage space for me. This room here, I mean, this is the furnace room, and then over there's this little tiny closet. Besides that, my Lego has to stay in this basement, so I want to maximize my display space. So I can't really afford to turn that little storage closet into a space to display more Lego because I need somewhere to put stuff. I know we have our part bins, we have underneath the table and stuff like that, but underneath the table we've already started building displays and stuff like that. So I need one space where I can sort of stow stuff away, and I use that room for like my investment sets, so I'm not really going to put Lego in there. Plus I don't think I'd go in there and see it very often. It would be a cool concept. Plus I'd always want to have that door closed because it's the furnace room. You can hear the furnace at all times in my house, so if I have the door open, then you're going to hear the furnace. It's going to be louder. So I've decided to put that idea on the back burner. I don't really collect the smaller Harry Potter sets. I just collect the big ones like the Hogwarts Castle and stuff like that. And I decided not to collect those, and I put that idea, stowed it away. Not going to do it, unfortunately. I need some storage space. Yeah. It's too bad that we have to make room for storage. I mean, a lot of people would have used their basement for like their Christmas decorations and stuff like that. I'm lucky that my garage is a tandem stall, is double long, because I have nowhere to put my Christmas decorations in my basement, or all of my additional stuff or whatever it may be. So I use the tandem stall in my garage to store that away. I'm lucky that I have that. It's the one thing that I never knew that I needed. You'll see that my room is actually a weird shape. You see how it's like wide here and then it goes narrow there? That's because that's where the tandem stall is. So it's actually the one thing that I never knew that I needed, because I maxed out the room for Lego displays here in the basement. We got one from Alex here. He says, how did you feel when the 2014 AT-AT set retired from the store? I would be a little sad when my first set retires, the Aston Martin. It's a good first set, man. That ejector seat, boom! Awesome, right? How did I feel about it? I felt pretty cool, you know. Saw this set at Toys R Us. I bought it for $90 on sale, 20% off, I think. Next thing you know, like a year later, it retires and it goes up to like 150, 200 bucks. It felt pretty cool. It's one of the things that inspired me to continue collecting Lego, because the value of it went up. I thought it was really neat. However, I was disappointed when one of its similar sets retired. That was, I don't know what year it was, but probably somewhere at the same time, 2014 Star Destroyer. I was really sad when that retired because I didn't have the opportunity or didn't have the smarts to buy that. But then actually I went to the Edmonton Comic Con that same year, like a year later or something like that, and I saw it at a booth and they were selling it for the SRP. So I bought it for the SRP. And that's the really cool Star Destroyer over there. So I was sad to see that one retire because I didn't get it. But I'm never sad to see, when anything that I have in the Lego room, I'm never sad to see it retire. I'm actually excited to see it retire. I'm like wanting it to retire. I'm like, hurry up and retire Darth Vader's castle. Boom, it's gone. I'm like, yes, it retired. Woohoo, we already got it. I mean, I'm sad for other Lego collectors that don't have it. Or like the James Bond Aston Martin. Yes, it retired. Woohoo, look at that thing, right? Like, I'm actually fired up on it. I think that's one of the things that attracts people to collecting Lego, is the fact that things can retire and go up in value. Even though you've already built it, you've already displayed it, you've already had your enjoyment with it, and now it looks so good on your shelf, and you just know that that thing could potentially go up. I think that's the cool thing about Lego, and I think that's why a lot of people actually collect Lego, is because the retirement aspect of it is so cool. And I hope that never goes away. I hope they don't keep reissuing sets or do the subscription program. I think that's a load of garbage and will decrease the amount of people that want to buy and hold and collect Lego. I think they need to continue with this sense of urgency. And this product only has a certain shelf life, and it retires, because I just think that's such a neat concept. So that's my thought on retiring sets. Yeah, it's super cool, I think. Justin says, you said that you're running out of space for the shelves recently. Are you planning on consolidating your collection and building more space? Eventually, I want to get a big pole barn on an acreage. That's big dinero, though. I've got to wait at least 5 years in this house. Because what happens when you own a property is you get equity in the property. So I've got to get at least 5 years of equity, probably more than that. I'm hoping to make some lump sum payments on this mortgage so I can get enough equity in this property so that I can buy a new property that can accommodate a pole barn. My yard cannot accommodate a pole barn, so that's why I don't have one, or a steel shed or whatever it may be. What am I going to do? I actually am planning on starting to get rid of some sets just to make space in this Lego room. However, I'll regret that. If I ever do get my pole barn dream, I'll regret selling sets, because then I'll have this big empty room. Well, not empty, but emptier, and then I'll have to work toward filling it up. So I don't want to get rid of sets and regret getting rid of them later. You know what I mean? If I get rid of stuff now and I'm all happy because I have new display space for the newest UCS set or whatever it may be, I don't want to regret it later when I might have more space. It's all a plan. It's all it's all a concept at this point, but I just think it'd be really cool to somehow get an acreage with a pole barn or a steel shed with an HVAC system or whatever it may be. It's in my plans, in my interest to do that for sure. But yeah, I think I got to start consolidating some stuff and selling some stuff and finding unique ways to get away. Or I could do what I was talking about earlier and just bag it out for now. I could bag some stuff out and just store it away. I don't know. Eventually, we're going to have to cross that bridge. We still have the bulkhead shelves that we can fill back there, though. So you just need to come up with unique ways to find more ways to display stuff, you know? Yeah, so that's my thought. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Figure it out as we go, I guess. Alexander has some questions in regards to broken pieces, quality control, missing pieces, stuff like that. I've never really had any problems. I had one arch piece that was like weird. It was like rounded and molded weird. The brittle brown is brutal. I've had a lot of brown pieces break. I'm building and this breaks. It's known as the brittle brown, something to do with the dye or color. I haven't phoned Lego to see if they're going to replace any of those pieces for me. I have no idea how many pieces there are, but I've broken probably a few hundred brittle brown pieces. Those are terrible. Missing pieces, I only had one set that had missing pieces, the Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive. In fact, a whole mini bag was missing, and then they had a different mini bag, so I got two mini bags that are the same, and I was missing a whole mini bag. But I submitted my order on Bricks and Pieces, and it was here within 10 days or so. So nothing serious. I mean, I think Lego is one of the best quality controls ever. I'm sure if I were to phone them about the brittle browns, I'm sure they'd replace them for me, to tell you the truth. I might do it. I might say, hey, I've got 100 1x4 brittle brown pieces that broke, or I got 2x6 brittle brown plates I need replacing. Are you going to do anything for me? And they might. I don't know yet. Ward says, did you consider changing the road plates to the newer style of road pieces from City? It would save you a lot of space, I think, although it would be expensive and would need a lot of planning in advance. Yes, I am converting to mills and road plates. It's going to be a journey, but we're embarking on it, my friend. Yes, we are indeed. Is that the last question? It is the last question. So there you go, everybody. We answered some questions here on Ask Bricksie episode 12. If you have any questions that you want answered in the next episode, throw them in the comment section below. Remember, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. And oh my gosh, I need some tea. Have a great day. Farewell.